Alright everybody, what's going on? Sukaba here. We're coming at you guys with the old draft review. We got a bunch of old geezers in this call right here. I'm Sukaba, your host of this video. I'm going to introduce each one of my fellow elderly retirement home members here. So we'll start off with Goose. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit?
Hey, what's up? This is my third draft within this league. Technically third draft ever as well. And looking forward to a new season.
Alright, Boom, you go ahead next.
I'm Bohm. I have one successful season, and I'm looking to hopefully not be bottom of the tier list tonight.
Alright. Daddy?
Good luck with that, Bohm. I actually am an old man. Sukaba's like 20 years old or something, so don't listen to him.
Yo, that's fake news. Don't listen to him.
Anyways, I'm happy to be here, man. I'm looking forward to being a little more volatile in this one. So.
Ooh. Alright, James?
All right, as a fellow actually old, only younger than Daddy, I'm
Barely.
I'm ready to by like 2 months or something like that. I'm ready to talk about how it was back in my day. Be convinced that it is the kids who are wrong, and probably yell at some clowns as well.
Yeah, they were doing
Although nobody
typewriters
drafted
on
on
Draft League in your day, right? Typewriters? They were loading them up.
That's just what
Yeah,
we're using.
exactly.
All right, good. And then we got the Jordan over here, last up.
Hi, I'm the Jordan. I got my second blue margarita here, so it's about to get spirited. up in
Number
here.
2. All right.
I'm gonna have like 50% wrong opinions, but the other 50% will be scientific fact.
All right, so we got the balance of both worlds there. All right, so I think we're going to start with the UVA division, we said, right?
Yep.
We're going to do UVA, so
Gengars.
we're going to start with Canada's team here, the Grafton Gengars. Is this what's up in the draft? We're good to go?
Mhm.
All right, so...
Good. Is Sushi Combo in draft actually?
Yeah, that will be the question. So anyone want to take this one, break it down here for us?
Well, I've kind of been over it already. I don't think it's going to be quite as strong in draft as it is on the ladder, because you're going to be ready for it. You're going to bring those Hazemans if you have them. You're going to be kind of looking out for that setup on lead if it gets brought. So I don't think Sushi Combo is going to be an absolute nightmare, but you guys also talked about in the last one, and I'll just throw it in there so we're not double dipping too much. They're both solid mons on their own. Water typing is great. Storm Drain is great. Dondozo super bulky and a threat on its own in Trick Room. And obviously Murkrow I think is pretty nuts. It's one of those support Pokemons that I would absolutely justify having on your team. And you guys know how I feel about supports. I don't feel great about them, but Priority Tailwind's so good. Priority Haze that other people don't have for his Dondozo because he took it. I think that's phenomenal that he has those paired together, so nobody else can use it. I think there is definitely some strong aspects of this team.
I think an interesting thing about the Murkrow with the Dondozo and the Tatsugiri is this is actually a common mon that's used on the ladder with this duo for a couple reasons. One, Tailwind is really strong to set up first to bring in your combo later on. Second, Murkrow actually gets priority Perish Song, which can be used to kill the Tatsugiri, so you still get the boost from Dondozo while allowing another mon to enter the field, which is potentially something to think about for this team. That threat is always looming as well. Because I know some people run the Toxic Orb thing with Tatsugiri to cheese it out, but Perish Song is another way you could accomplish the same thing. Murkrow has that with priority, so it really synergizes well with those two dynamically.
Goose, why is the hippo here?
That's a great question. Because it's a great ground type and there's very few of them, that's why. As for Sandstream, I don't know, you could Terra into a rock type for a Spadef boost.
I don't hate that at all.
I think that's a pretty solid option.
Yeah. I mean, Hippo's strong, right? I mean, 112 attack is nice. 118 defense is pretty nice as well.
The thing's bulky.
Maybe Hippo wants to Terra into rock itself, right?
Yeah, I could see
and
that.
Then it's like impossible to kill. Like your 72 Spadef
Not
becomes
the best defensive type though.
what, like 120 or something like that.
Yeah, but then you're a
as well.
solo rock type. What is it doing out there besides living?
Weakness policy.
Strong stone edges.
that are
I mean,
missing.
every draft league
Yeah.
team is weak to rock. Not
True.
literally, but essentially. Like, that's the hardest type to have a non-net weakness to.
He's got
So,
Storm
like-
Drain.
Yeah, Storm Drain is pretty decent support for Hippowdon. Speaking
Pretty weird
of things that don't want to take water type attacks, how do we feel about this Pyroar?
Chilling. It's got fire moves and snarl. It's fine.
Looks cool.
It's a pretty good value pick.
Yeah,
Also
it's fine.
got
I think
was
he
it
did-
Noble Roar that's just non-switching out parting shot.
He did a good job getting value. I think Bronzor was probably the best one-pointer on the board for what it
Yeah.
provides. So he did good in that department, which allowed him to go a little more top-heavy on the other end. But yeah, I don't know. Pyroar is chilling. I think you're right, Jordan. It's doing what it's going to do. It's going to snarl. It's going to chill.
A mon that we didn't talk about in the last video, and we often don't talk about, but is super strong, especially in this format, I think, is Gengar.
Gengar is so good.
Yeah,
Every
Gengar's
So good. It's always good.
I like Gengar. Absolutely. Definitely agree with you. I thought you were going to say Heracross.
Thought so, too.
Which I also think is an interesting mon, particularly like you can get rid of that bug weakness, or the weaknesses of bug, rather, by either going like pure fighting type or like, you know, just something to like give you some sweet coverage one week, 2 good abilities, and also swarm. Which, in terms of like the abilities that make a specific type stronger when you're below 30%, like Swarm's not a bad one, but also it's just bug type is not great in general. I also think Espeon has the potential to take advantage of Terra in some pretty cool ways, right? Like
Yeah.
it gets, I believe it gets Mystical Fire. Dazzling Gleam as
It
well,
got some
right?
new gifts this gen. The Calm Mind, it's going to take advantage of, and also Power Gem is a great coverage move, and the ability to not be a psychic type is a great thing. I want to put respect on some of these mid tiers in general. Bisharp with the EVLite access this gen, and this is a mon that actually will really enjoy Tailwind. It will really enjoy like different speed modes and different like damage control with Gengar Will-O-Wisp. So like I do think Kenner has some good middle tiers. I think the team's a little bit like it's lacking a little bit of like defining identity. It seems like it's an offense team, so like maybe that's its best thing. But like some of these offensive pieces are a little bit frail. Like Espeon doesn't really take hits, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Like Pikachu doesn't take hits, but like Hippowdon does and Dondozo does. So it'll be right in the line between bulky and offensive, and I'm not quite sure which way it's going.
Yeah, to add to that, I know we were gassing up Murkrow before, saying how good it is. I do feel like sometimes in certain matchups, it just sets Tailwind and then kind of sits there, which can be bad as far as... And I know you said this is a very offensive team, so you're going to be looking for the Murkrow to enable that offense, but at the same time, you're using one of your move slots to click Tailwind, and then what is it doing after that? Now, I'm not saying Murkrow doesn't have other things in its kit, but in certain matchups, it can really feel like kind of dead weight out there after doing its one job. So
Foul play can't be ignored, though, I think a lot of the time, especially because a lot of teams are attack heavy. So, I mean, it's chunking damage. It's doing a third to half HP to a lot of mines. So it does something else, but I get what you're saying. It's not threatening that one shot that you probably would want after you set up Tailwind, right?
Mm-hmm. All right, we ready?
What I would like is I would like to straddle the two modes, right? We have these two like defensive mons in Dondozo, Powdon, and then we have like the hyper offensive mode with Murkrow, and then some of the others we talked about. But like, where's like the Swampert Pokemon, the Pokemon that sits in every mode? Is it Dondozo regardless of speed, or is it Tazugiri or something? So I want this team to be able to play in all circumstances rather than play like shootouts. So I think this team's going to end up somewhere in the middle, all said and done.
All right, so why don't we rank it then? Where are we going to put this team from
I'm
Canada?
going to start them right in B and see if it if we end up seeing a whole bunch of stinkers, maybe it moves up. If we end up seeing a whole bunch of like gold S tier 10 out of 10 A plus teams,
I agree.
maybe
I think it's in
maybe
B
slides
for
down.
now, for sure.
Yeah, I think the lack of identity kind of puts it in high C for me. But yeah, around the middle.
I'll leave it in B for now.
Onward.
Alrighty. Moving on to Heaven's team. French
Holy
Phillips
defense.
coming back again. Yeah,
Evan
no
loves
kidding,
his
right?
defensive teams. In his first outing, made the conference finals, so well done. But this is a team with like a lot of defense here. The Umbreon, the Gudra, the Amoonguss, the Spiritomb is now all it needed was Trick Room to become a good Pokemon. But we have a Rotom and like an Avalugg. Like this is a team that's really defensive, but I don't like. They took great pains in this game to try to make it a more offensively oriented game, and I'm not sure this team is well suited to that kind of metagame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sapsipper on Gudra doesn't look great because there's
Nothing
not a
that-
whole lot of grass weaknesses going around.
Yeah, who's bringing a grass move against this team?
I don't know, look at all these. You got resistances, immunities. You got one Mon weak, and it's Veluza, who's probably not coming to a lot of games. So you're not bringing
And
grass
is dying
coverage.
to everything anyway.
So really, you're running a useless
So-
ability. I mean, Gooey's fine. It's not bad.
I think this is the first team that actually, like, solo strat wants to run Trick Room. Like, a lot of teams kind of have, like, a mode for either one. This one screams to me, like, I'm gonna run Trick Room, try and stop me.
Yeah.
It's either Trick Room or it's speed indifferent, right? Because we have
Yeah.
bulky enough mons that we don't care.
Agreed.
But I'll put a little bit of respect on Veluza's name. It's got the sillier Shell Smash move, and we've got a ton of enablers to keep it on the field. Screens, Will-O-Wisp, redirection.
And if you're
So
gonna,
it could be really good.
yeah, if you're gonna have a Trick Room team, what better Trick Room setter to get in this format than Hatterini? I mean, I think it's pretty good. It's got magic bounce, really strong, potent special attacker as well. You can't taunt it. You got to double it. But, you could pair it up with an Amoonguss support to get your Trick Room off, then start setting spores. It's going to be hard to stop Trick Room from getting set up if you're playing this team. So I think he did a good job drafting a slow-oriented team. But at the same time, I think in Draft League, having a hard Trick Room team, and I'm not saying this team is solely going to be running Trick Room, but like you said, Goose, it's going to be favorable under Trick Room a lot of the time. I think that it's easy to counter a hard Trick Room team when you see this in prep and know how to, that that's going to be a mode that they're looking to run.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Ball has never looked so good.
So yeah, Squawkabilly with Tailwind is not something that you should worry about too much, right?
No.
So this team's not going to emphasize going fast most of the time. It's going to try to outlast you. It's going to try to put you to sleep. I kind of see what he was going for here, but I feel like in this format, you need a little bit more offense.
Yeah.
All right, let's put it on a list here. I think, yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking it's also like pretty middle team that I like a little more than Canners. I'm gonna put Heaven at the top of B myself.
Putting it just under Canners.
Yeah, I like it less than
Right
Canners.
understand.
I'm edging on the urge of low B, high C for this one. What do you guys think?
It's
Yeah,
a C tier team.
Look, show
in
us
my
the
opinion.
Calm Mind Umbreon to 4v1 teams. Like, I believe it can do it, but...
I don't.
Show me the Prankster, Perish Song, kill Tatsugiri into +2 on Dondozo, and then bring an Espeon and psych up your own Dondozo for +2 in every stat. Show me that!
Wrong
that's
team!
All right, I'm gonna put it in top of C for now. We might move it up later.
All right, I guess I'm a little higher on it than everybody else, but
Is
that's
this the
fine.
Sora team?
This is the Sora
When we
team.
saw a video recently?
Sora.
We did.
Yeah, saw a video earlier today. It's
Yo,
got
shouts out to Sora for popping off with 1,000 views on his last video.
Oh my god.
no, right? Send some of those
You
our
can-
way.
That's awesome.
He's hogging all the views over here, this guy.
Yeah.
We try to learn the algorithm's fickle ways. We'll never really understand.
Dude, this guy has Glaceon, so let's just put it in S tier and move on.
I think this team is even better than Sora gives it credit for. I think there's a lot of great offense on this team. I've already praised the hell out of Clawitzer. Daddy has praised Glaceon to whoever will hear it. Like, we have big offensive numbers and we have multipliers on those big offensive numbers. The Meowscarada critting you is a problem. Hydreigon having all the moves and all the Terra options is a problem. Like this, and the Caesar, the priority threat. Like, there's just like a lot of different offensive threats here that I'm concerned about.
Yeah, this is another team that really spent its points to like maximize win conditions and ending the game, right? Hydreigon, Meowscarada, Tauros, Sizor, Clawitzer, Glaceon if you're daddy. And then like spent some support points judiciously. Like that was kind of the running theme of the Scarlet and Violet division, or Scarlet and Violet conference tier list is spend your points in the right places more than just on the right Pokemon. And I think Toadschool, Gothorita, Snover are good places to spend points judiciously to maximize value and to maximize the points to damage ratio as much as possible.
I love the cheap support concept, right? If all you need is a move, it doesn't matter who's clicking it, right? Gothorita's got the Fake Out, it's got the Frisk, it's got the Trick Room, it's got whatever you want, so it doesn't matter if it's like not terribly impressive on offense or anything. Like Snover has got the Snow. It doesn't really matter if it's not doing much more, but Glaceon will sweep one of these weeks with the Snow support.
And what was it, 2 points for Snover?
Yeah.
Or 1 maybe?
Toadschool too, good pick.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Florges could surprise people this season too. That thing's really bulky next to an Intimidate Mon too.
I loved using Florges back when it first was in X and Y, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Florges was sweet. 2 not very great abilities, which is fine. Like Symbiosis, you're going to get a little bit of value out of it, and Symbiosis is basically just better Flower Veil, right? So, although there are 3 grass types on the team to take advantage of Flower Veil, so maybe Florges is going to run Flower Veil sometimes. 1 of 3 Stab Moonblasts on the whole board, so
that's surprising to me.
You ready for the weird strat here? Florges, you set grassy terrain to aid your Masquerada. Masquerada gets a grassy seed, and then you pass it a life orb, and then it KOs everything with Flower Charm. Weirder things have happened in Draft League. That's awesome.
Also got like Helping Hand. It gets Pollen Puff, so it can like heal up its teammates while just sitting there. Skill Swap, Trick Wish. This thing is just like a nuisance.
Yeah, and other than Tauros, like Steels can wall this team decently well, but then you also get Fire Hydreigon, right, with Terra.
Yeah, right. Terra, Fire Hydreigon.
Yeah.
I think even like Tauros gets doesn't it get Fire Punch even on the Aqua form, or am I making that up?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Glaceon Freeze Dry plus Ground. It has a ground move, or it can Terra Blast Ground. It beats every Pokemon. Nothing resisted unless you're a Rotom form.
Yep, I'm making that up. Water Tauros does not get any fire moves. Okay. I don't know.
I'll add in. I just think Hydreigon was a very, very good first round pick, and he really followed it up with a good draft here. Like you said, Hydreigon takes advantage of Levitate. It can Terrestrialize into Fire type to help with that Steel Wall that you guys were talking about. It could set Tailwind if it wants. It could also deal heavy damage. I think Hydreigon's a really dynamic Mon in this format with everyone experimenting with Terrestrialization. You see it on the ladder all the time. This thing becomes a Terra Fire, Terra Steel. It's got the base stat total of a Legendary, so it's definitely going to put in work for him, and I think he'll use it very well.
Yeah, super strong Gen 5.
Tier this guy.
Gen 5 core was Gothorita plus Hariyama plus Hydreigon. Or not Gothorita, Gothitelle. And we've kind of got that in Hydreigon plus Tauros plus Gothorita, right? So like there's like some pedigree to some of these choices too.
Dropping the VGC history here.
Yeah,
I love this.
Well, a history lesson from the doctor. All right, let's rank it.
Yeah, this is an easy S tier team for me. I love Sora's team. I think it's great.
I'm putting in an A depending on what we see.
Yeah.
For me, this feels like an A.
It feels like an A for me. I'm not quite inclined to put it in an S, especially since given the last conference we only had 1 S tier. I think it's a high bar this season to get your team into S. So I'm going to put it in high A for now with the potential to rise depending on what we see.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Seems reasonable. All right. Now,
Well.
the villain.
Oh man,
The villain? The
enemy.
nicest guy?
The nicest
everybody
guy in the
hates
world.
This guy. He's so mean to everybody.
Everybody loves him.
Oh, wait, this is Tay? Yes, the villain. Okay, then we were going to Goose.
Oh,
I thought we were too. Actually,
Everybody loves him.
everybody does hate
No, we
Tay.
shouldn't. I'll be the
Oh
villain.
my god, he's such a good guy, but like, come on.
Yeah, stop winning.
He just effortlessly, he gets the crits and he's a good player. Like, you can't get... Great
If you were-
first
if
pick
you
in
were-
Mousehold. Great second pick in Armor Rouge. Literally Value City from there. Like, this is another great draft. I'm thinking, like, why didn't I just draft this team? Every time he picked, he stole a few of my picks in a row. It hurt.
Leave a like and subscribe if you are tired of Tay winning.
Yeah, this video is about to pop off now.
Yeah, we're going to make you famous with this one.
I know, I'm ready.
I talked about at length. I think this mon is unbelievably strong in draft and outside of draft. You just don't know what it's going to bring, right? Is it going to follow me with Friend Guard? Is it going to throw in Protects and stay alive so it can keep enabling its teammates? Or is it just going to one-shot your mons with Population Bomb?
Or is it going to encore you and shut up?
Is it going to encore you and make sure you don't have any fun?
Or is it just going to run those 4 moves and then it's doing all those things and it's great, right? Like,
you can run raw Population bomb without wide lens. Sometimes it'll do great damage, and you can still be the follow me Friend Guard stuff.
I know we really are gassing up Mousehold, and listen, I would have taken it if it was there in round 1. But at the same time, it is a mon that you can kill pretty easily because it's probably not running a sash if you're running that technician set with wide lens, and it's very frail relatively. So I would say that it definitely has its weaknesses. Obviously, it's not like some elite Pokemon that can't die. That being said, I think Tay followed it up with a solid draft as expected. He found great value on this board. Donphin was a cheap get that's going to put in a lot of work. Kilowattrel, we talked about it in the last draft, was a little undervalued probably. I think Tay has a draft style that he likes to find the value in the middle of his draft, and then he saves his points to be able to get a nice high tier at the end. We saw this last season. I think he grabbed the Rotom at the end, or I don't know if that was the season before, where he grabbed the Rotom Heat very late in the draft for 14 points or so. He was able to get Baxcalibur, a nice top tier, to end it all off. So he was able to find value early and top it all off with another potent offensive threat. So really nice draft from Tay, as expected, like I said.
Really wise spending of points. I love the fact that we're a league that forces you to look at some of the mid tiers, some of the low tiers, and then Tay just found a great team and then saved 9 points so he could grab whatever he wanted at the end. Really, really great. I mean, Morgrim's going to do so much for an offensive team, allowing Lucario to live a hit, allowing Mousehold to live a hit, allowing Armarouge to live a hit. Like, there's just so much offense and there's so much value. I'm just overwhelmed by this team and how to beat it, especially when you factor in terrestrialization.
Yeah, and I feel like the Vaporeon, that was hard for me to say, it's probably the whiskey, fits a little bit better with this team than it does with James's team, because if he wants to run a Trick Room mode, he brings Armarouge, he brings Donphan, and then all of a sudden that Water Absorb really comes into play, right, with some switches to keep these mons that are already bulky, right, covering for each other's weaknesses, I think is nice. Also, 2 words, Appleton.
It's good. It's good.
Then getting Baxcalibur at the end is kind of the icing on the cake here. Now, I'm hyping this team up. I don't think it's an S tier team.
It is. You're wrong.
I wouldn't put it on par with something like Jace's, and I know I'm talking interconferential here, but I don't think it's quite as strong. Why do you think I'm wrong?
Oh, it's just so much. It's so overwhelming offense and tools at the same time. Like, even if we took Mousehold off the team, this is a team with incredible tools and incredible offense. Like, I don't know how to beat the Kilowattrel Tailwind mode if you're also trying to prep for, like, an Appleton endgame and you're also trying to stop, like, a Dreadnought Shell Smash. Like, I don't know how to stop all the modes at once. You're going to have to, like, fire off attacks and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Like, because the team has weaknesses, but, like defensive weaknesses, but it's just got so many different ways to be offensive or defensive.
Yeah, I was gonna mention. Sorry, I'll stop talking after this. But the bulk doesn't seem phenomenal, but he does have more grooms for screens, and he also has Friend Guard, which these things make things that aren't bulky. All of a sudden, they're surviving a couple hits when normally they wouldn't, right?
Yeah. To add on to Jordan's point, I think there's so many modes here that excel in what they do. Like, you don't know what he's gonna bring, and whatever he does, it's going to be effective, right? He's got the Mousehold. You don't know if it's going to be Friend Guard, if it's going to be an offensive technician set. He's got the Morgrim to set screens for those bulky attackers set up. He's got a solid Trick Room option with Appleton, Donphin, maybe even a little Vaporeon in there. You have to worry about the Follow Me setup with Lucario, Terra Normal E-Speed. It's just, there's so much dynamic team building here that I think was just done so successfully. So I really love this team, for sure.
Masterclass.
Yeah.
Well done, Tay. S tier for me.
All right, let's rank it.
I'm just barely a little bit lower than everybody, but I think I have consistently underrated Tay's team and in many of these, and so I see no reason to change that.
I think it's
If it
an
is,
S
it's
tier
I will
team.
continue to
Tay.
underrate Tay's teams.
I think it's low S tier for an S tier coach for sure.
I genuinely do like Sora's team better.
I'm putting him right under Sora, but I know Tay's gonna make it work.
I'm gonna put it in.
Got to
S.
be Tay this season. Goose, you're in his division.
Drop
Win.
him, please.
Yeah, just beat him. It's that easy. Why not simply
Be
win?
better,
I mean,
bro.
I do got Frostmoth, so
I mean, this is like real draw the rest of the owl energy right now, for sure. But
All right, let's move on. We got Goose's team up next. Goose, you want to give a little intro into your thought process here?
my thought process this time being my third draft, which for the record I think I've enjoyed all three of my drafts, even despite how some of the seasons have gone. I think the biggest thing I've learned through all of them is super wide speed tiers are extremely necessary. I've had 2 prior seasons where my highest speed mon was 106, even with Prankster, and then my lowest was 40, and that's just not wide enough to really cut it. So I kind of paid super attention to speed tiers this time. I also paid attention to the limited really solid electric types and ground types. I also paid attention to steel types like King Gambit, which is why I grabbed that first. And then Saraledge with a fire and being a fire and ghost type. I've seen the damage that freaking lantern, whatever that thing is, I can't remember the name of it, chandelier. I've seen that thing go crazy, and then I saw Poppin go crazy with Noivern. So basically what I did is I learned from watching everybody else and just grabbed an amalgamation of that. Plus a couple new mods.
Your intro really helped me, Goose, understand the team because I was a little confused right at the beginning. But yeah, you have premium stuff that a lot of coaches don't have. Like the Mudsdale is going to do a lot of work. The King Gambit, we have a lot of offense right off the rip, and we have very fast top end with Jolteon, Noivern, and then the slow end with Slow King can totally carry a Trick Room mode. So yeah, you have the range and you have the offense, and I wonder, do you have the game plan? Do you have screens? Not really. Do you have fake out? No. Do you have redirection?
Nope.
No. So there are some of the things that you want to lean on, and maybe they're a crutch, right? You don't need them to have a great team. But you're going to have to make the reads, right? You're going to have to protect things at the right time. You're going to have to throw out 2 attackers and then terrestrialize so that they can't beat either of them. But yeah, there's a ton of offense and a ton of speed options here.
Yeah, the speed tiers are nice. There's definitely a really solid Trick Room mode, and then Jolteon and Noivern, super fast. Jolteon obviously has a lot of weaknesses, namely it dies to everything all the time. But I do like the spread there, so it's it makes it a little bit harder to prep for, right? People don't necessarily know, is he going to try to go fast this week, or is he going to try to go slow? That alone kind of makes team building harder for other coaches, which I think makes this a very solid team. I also think
it's stretchy enough that you can go both at once, right?
Right,
Half the team,
exactly.
Trick Room, yeah.
Boom, I want to know what you think about these top 2 here, King Gambit and Saraluge. Started the draft off with a lot of points spent on 2 mons that I think complement each other well. You want to go into how you think these 2 are going to carry Goose to victory this year?
Or not.
we'd lose Boom.
No pressure. That's
He's
why
just
it's
thinking.
fine.
Somebody else can jump in if Boom's not here.
They're good. Ground weakness? Question mark?
Don't worry about ground. There's only 4 of them.
Nah.
This team's stressing me out in prep already. I play Goose week 1, and I'm floored. I don't even know where to begin, to be honest.
Well, that makes 2 of us then.
Can't say too much. You don't want to give it away.
Last round.
I'm not gonna go too much into it, but I mean it's wide. It has a lot of options. It definitely looks like a solid team overall. I think it's gonna take perfect prep from either side. It could go either way, honestly, in different matches depending on how your opponent preps. But I mean, it has good resistances. I think it's only got 3 real major weaknesses, and again with terrestrialization, it doesn't really matter. But it'll be an interesting first week. I tend to overthink my first weeks, but I definitely think this is a solid team, and I'm definitely putting it up towards the top of my list right now.
I don't feel great about Ditto though. if I'm
I
being
agree.
honest.
Well, I mean, it's there to be there. If it comes, it comes.
Are you kidding me? I just got that specifically for Tay because I figured whatever he drafts is good. And I'll copy that.
Yeah,
Scarf whatever Tay has, and
maybe I just don't understand Ditto in draft league, but like I just feel like whenever you're prepping, I had Ditto one season, and when you have a Ditto on your team, it's just so hard to justify using a valuable Mon slot on Ditto unless you really are confident that it's going to be able to have an answer for whatever your opponent's plan is going to be. So we saw Ditto used to perfection by Tay. I don't know if it was last season or the one before. I forget.
It was last season.
Oh, you
Last
mean
season.
No, it was 2 seasons ago.
That was
That
it was
was
2 seasons
epic.
ago.
It was literally
Yeah, that was
epic to
Daddy Blunt
watch.
Part
But
1.
like for us normal tier coaches, for me, I would never be able to use Ditto as effectively as that. So personally, I probably wouldn't draft Ditto again. But at the value of 3, it definitely gives you an option to match something that you're nervous about on the other team.
yeah, because you also build Mons on your team to complement each other, right? So when you copy something on the other team, it's kind of built for that team, not necessarily for yours. And in draft, like sometimes you don't know what sets things are going to run. It's not as predictable as ladder. So I feel like that makes Ditto even harder to use, right?
Sakapa brings up another interesting point, and I guess this is just kind of the discussion of Ditto time, which is fine. Which is like the cost of Ditto is not in the points you pay in the draft; it's in bringing one of 6 to an actual match, right? Like that is such like they all your Pokemon cost the same in that sense, right? Mm-hmm. One Pokemon, and to be bringing Ditto as one of those 6, like spending such a high price in the match is often incredibly difficult to justify, right?
I view Ditto as a hedge against setup. Like, don't set up in front of me or I just copy it. And so, therefore, Ditto, when it's on the 6, it kind of encourages more of a shootout where you need Mons to be effective at +0, no boosts. And Goose has a couple of Mons. The top 2, I think, are very good without boosts. But, like, this team might struggle a little bit in the shootout. Mudsdale can definitely take a hit, but like some of these other guys, like Slowking, is just like a little bit slow going. No pun. But like, so like, I think you just fire off like strong ground moves into this team and hope for the best. I think it's not quite at the level of Tay's team, but I think it's a good team, and certainly with good piloting, it's gonna get you into the playoffs.
All right, let's rank it. I'm going to put it below Sora's team in A, personally. I don't know what you guys think.
That sounds right.
I'll try to reflect.
I have it below Sora, but in B.
Maybe top of B. I'm going to put it below Sora in A for now. We could always slide it down later if we feel the need.
Yeah, that's where I got it as well.
A very good team.
Definitely solid. Good job, Goose.
All right. We got our last of the UVA teams.
Already? Wow.
Holmes,
Nice.
Grove City Gigaliths with some new logo, new season, new logo.
Tinkaton, honestly, like not a bad first pick. Like, just throw it out there. Like, we undervalued it a little bit when it's really strong with the Gigaton Hammer, but like it has things to do when it's not Gigaton hammering, the fake out knockoff, helping hand, and other stuff like that. So I think it's a really good mod, and I think it was a good start to the draft.
Yeah, bum sell us a little bit.
Definitely, I mean, definitely wouldn't have picked it first pick if I didn't think it was going to be there in my second pick. And I had to wait 23 picks. I think it would have gotten picked up by then for sure. I definitely think typing alone makes it strong. I mean, it's got couple good abilities. Pickpocket's never probably going to come. Fire next to it. I like the idea of kind of pairing some swaggers with it and stuff like that. Kind of fix its attack a little bit. So that's something you might see occasionally. I mean, with Tinkaton and Hariyama, 2 fake out users, I mean, I know you got Covert Cloak, I think is what it is, and I mean, it's going to kind of screw up some of those fake outs, but it's still nice to have that pressure because, I mean, if you guess right, you're still going to get a free turn off of it. Rangaroo and Salamence, I wanted a Rangaroo I definitely wanted right off the bat for Trick Room. I wanted ability to go slow if needed. And it was kind of a good pickup. It's definitely good at setting up Trick Room because, I mean, if you pair it with Mental Herb, you can't taunt it. I mean, it's kind of nice right off the rip. Salamence, I needed a Tailwind user. I mean, it's nice. He has Intimidate too. Moxie can be a pretty solid ability. Magnezone kind of picked it up, kind of something else to go with Trick Room a little bit. Slay King with Grafai. I mean, it's gimmicky, but I mean, on the right week, it could work pretty well.
Yeah, why? You copied my Defiant. That was good. Like
Yeah.
we've already seen some of the hype and content week where people have been low rating this team, and I frankly don't get it. Like, I'm impressed with a lot of the mons in this team, and so like anybody who's dismissed this team, feel free to speak up. But like, I'm impressed by Hariyama's amazing Pokemon, our Oranguru, as Bones mentioned, Salamence and Magnezone, like really great offenses. Like Slay King, if it's not Truant, is a great Pokemon, and so like I think there's a lot of offensive potential. And so it all comes down to piloting, but then again, so is everyone else. Yeah, so the hover over, the cursor is talking about some of these low tiers don't really matter. Yeah, they don't really matter, but like I think the first 9 are very good.
Yeah.
I think slacking is something that you always have to be ready for too, right? Which he doesn't even have to bring it, but just the fact that it's there, the other coach has to consider it, has to be ready for it. I think that there's something to be said there, right? Just something that your opponent has to focus on in prep, whether you're considering bringing it or not. And it's a super powerful mod if you change that ability. I also think Magnezone is super underrated. I think it's going to be really strong in this format. It was phenomenal for me last season, and I think it's even better now with Terra because we can negate that 4 times weakness, make it immune. And it's what, 135 special attack or 130? 130 special attack is insane.
130 with analytic with Terra potentially.
Yeah, the move pool is not phenomenal, but it also has great bulk. And 60 speed tier is not the greatest, but you get Tailwind set up in certain situations. It's going fast, or against fast teams, you set Trick Room, and it's pretty slow. So I feel like a 60 speed tier, a lot of people don't appreciate it, but I don't think it's as bad as people think. I think sometimes being in that middle speed tier can be to your advantage. If you can bring Tailwind and Trick Room in the same matchup, it can surprise people.
We don't have great Tailwind. We do have Prankster Scary Face off of the Grafai. So, like, for me, I find a way to stretch past this team. Like, yeah, we're gonna not be able to deal with Grafai, but if we do bring with like a Dark type, and then we can like be below 50 speed, and we can be above 100 speed, then we can kind of deal with this team on the speed front, I think. But like the power is really there, and so if Bohm plays like a game where like, fine, you're going first, but I can take a hit and Oko you, then I think it'll be very effective.
Yeah. I mean, my last 4 mons, I'm in Houndoom through Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff's, I'm going to be honest, it's probably never coming.
Mm-hmm.
It is the better Wigglytuff, though.
It's got Frangard. That's something.
That's Frangard. That's kind of the only draw I had with it.
I cannot say enough bad things about Wigglytuff. So good job on picking Jigs instead.
Yeah, I think the weakest part of this team is definitely the last 4. I think you got a solid first 7 for sure. These mons are really threatening. These last 4, I'm not entirely sold on, but maybe the power you have in the first 7 kind of overpowers that as a top heavier draft in that sense.
I think the last 4 are just going to come occasionally. I have ideas for a couple of them for sure, and I mean, it's just going to depend on the opponent.
Houndoom is a perfectly acceptable Pokemon. You show him, Boom. I'm putting this team in B tier. This team is not a bad team. This team is.
I think it's a solid top of B for me.
I will also say,
I'll put it above Candace's team.
Instruct does allow Gigaton Hammer to happen again.
Does it?
Ooh,
I was actually going to test that.
Ooh.
I did not know that.
You don't Goose is just lying to you, so you.
I'm not lying. I mean, you can look it up yourself.
Week 1,
I'll test it just in case.
Also, don't use that against people.
You just soiled his week 1 plan by exposing it to the world.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think this is a solid B tier team.
Definitely. Is it above Canner's? What do you guys think? I think it's a little.
Yeah, I think it's better than Canner's team
for sure.
I think it's slightly below, but like it's a good
It's splitting hairs at that point. I'm gonna put it above. So that was our last Uber division, really?
Correct.
6
Yep.
already?
Yep.
All right, so we got
Already.
6
Only
more.
The first 6 here.
We've
And we've
ignored
got,
Cacturn, even though we've seen it twice. Just wanna point
Yeah,
that
we-
out. I
we
think
did
should keep
ignore it on
ignoring
Facebook.
I think we all would
have
like
it
to just
roll.
pretend this mod didn't exist.
Yeah.
All right,
The
moving on
Nubo.
to the second division here. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So who are we starting with here? Whose team is this?
Hakuna Matata, Ray. In
These
DDF,
first 5. Oh my God.
going the round that it should go.
Right.
Round
Yeah.
1, right? Not round 5.
I love the first round pick. I think the Halucha pick kind of confuses me as a follow up.
Unburden, and then it's super fast, and
Yeah, I guess you could put a psychic seed on it.
yeah,
with
and
MDD.
then
Halucha is trash.
That's my thing.
Thank
Is
you,
I'm
Jordan.
just not sold on this mon. Go ahead, Jordan. Explain to us why Halucha is so trash, please.
92 attack, and that's its second best stat. What's it doing?
It's
118
setting up Swords Dance behind
118
me.
tailwind. I guess tailwind. 118.
Yeah,
tailwind's
but
pretty
like,
good.
you could
It
just
does not
have a
get
mon
tailwind.
that can, like, it's VGC, right? You can just beat Tyranitar and be strong off turn 1, right? Why were you going to waste a turn now?
Well, he has
Like-
Tyranitar too.
Halucha is a support mon, and so if it's a support mon, then it's pretty good. And so we have T-Tar and Lycanroc are very good attackers that it can maybe like support, but it doesn't even have coaching anymore. They removed coaching from the game. So I'm a little confused about Halucha, but there's obviously a lot of good stuff to talk about in this team. So
Yeah, Halucha round 2, I agree, is too much. I'm not as low on Halucha as you are, Jordan, but yeah, round 2 Halucha is a little perplexing.
He probably could have got that like over in this area. I don't think he needed to spend such a
Got it.
premium draft capital on it personally.
Could have probably got it in round 11, to be
Yeah.
honest.
So we discussed Luminion in the other conference and how it wasn't really performing a vital function for that team. On this team, however,
yes,
it definitely is, right? That
good.
Storm Drain is going to go a long way towards protecting these 2 rock type Pokemon and the 4 times weak to water Camerupt.
I think it's almost pulling too much weight here. I feel like he needs another water resistant here to help out.
that's fair. I respect the
Oh,
Luminion,
interesting.
but yeah,
Okay.
another one would be even better. So we'll find like a Terra Grass in there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
fully expect a Terra Grass.
Luminion's not a bring it every week kind of mon, right? And it feels
Well,
like
but
it kind of
then
needs to be on
again,
this.
neither is Camerupt.
Your water resist is Indeedee. Don't think about it too much.
Just accept it. It's all good.
Sylveon's phenomenal. It's just such a good mon, especially in this format. There's not a lot of really powerful fairies, and it is unbelievably powerful. It's just so safe to have on any team.
Yeah. It also it works well with Tyranitar, and you have to respect the weather game he's bringing with Sandrush on Lycanroc with Tyranitar. That's always going to be something you have to have some sort of plan for, because Lycanroc is a type of mon where it can run through your team with the speed advantage if you let it have it.
Yeah, I mean, Tyranitar, my literal favorite Pokemon, has never looked so good as it does in Gen 9 Paldea with Terra, right? Like you get rid of that fighting weakness, you just go pure rock for an extra boost, or I mean in draft maybe you're gonna go pure dark sometimes. I know that flying Terra Tyranitar was running around the ladder for a little bit.
It's so good. I had this anti-meta Rain team that was so good against everything, and then the T-Tar Lycanroc showed up, and I don't know how to beat it. Like, you think Rain's good against it, but then it just flinches you, so never mind.
Yeah, really good speed tiers on this team too. Obviously, they can go
Very fast.
faster than anybody in the entire league, and can also go pretty slow, right?
One fake out and psychic terrain, so that's probably not a huge plan or thing that they intend to be leaning
Also,
on.
the fake
Palmo
out.
does get the revive move, right?
Yeah, but then you have to bring
No, it does
Palmo
not.
to a
It
match.
needs to be the top evolution.
Only the top one does. Okay.
I don't. Oh, it doesn't even get revival, really.
It does not.
Yeah, I don't see this mon really being a difference maker on this team.
No, we can delete it. It's got support moves, but like it's fine. You don't have to like you can beat it with random attacks. So like you don't have to really consider.
Especially, I didn't know it didn't have revival. Blessing. I feel like that takes away a lot of the appeal of taking a pre-evolution opponent.
Yeah, so we ended up tearing it in two because we had like fake out, nuzzle, charm, things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like the thing, I would like a psychic terrain abuser, and Bronzong has to sit on the field for it to like have terrain boosted psychic moves, which means you're not a levitate mon. And so I think he would really like a levitate mon. So it's a little bit like there are some modes you could have gone harder on, but there are a few good modes, and that's really what I think makes this overall a good team.
Yeah, I like it. Let's put it on the list.
Yeah.
All right, where are we putting it?
Hakuna Matata. I think
Low
I
A?
like it. Low A or high B. Yeah, I think probably high B for me. Let's put it in A, and then maybe I bring it down. That's where I'm going.
I'm thinking this is more of a B than an A for me personally. But
that's
for me.
if the consensus is more of an A, then I'll put it in A.
Oh, I didn't put respect on Electros's name. It's really good. It has no weaknesses, and it's
Yeah.
got every move that ever existed.
So what's the consensus here? I want to hear some more opinions. Are we thinking high B, low A, or what's the deal
The
here?
mid B for me. I have
Right.
Goose at top of B. I have Hakuna Matata in the middle, and Boom at the bottom of B.
I think
right now.
that's fair. I'm going to put it in the middle of B personally. You guys can make your own lists. We'll post them all.
Yeah.
Definitely. Alrighty, who's next? Oh, this guy.
I'm going to try to shut up, which is very hard for me because I have many thoughts on my team, good and bad. So, like, I want to hear what other people think about it.
I want to start. So I talked to Jordan a little bit around round 4, and I was like, okay, you have the best team in the league. Like, those 4, in my opinion, super strong, really good synergy, really powerful, but also with support options. So I was super hyped about these first 4. I think Farigiraf is a slightly underrated. I think it's going to be really, really strong. I think Cryogonal is good support that can also dish out some damage. I think that's going to kind of catch some people off guard. It can set screens. It's pretty fast. It's pretty bulky on the special side. So I think that thing's pretty good. But then after that, I don't really feel great about. There's the 4, mons that are maybe EVLA, probably Sash on a couple of those. Impidimp is just pure support. Fletchender is much the same. Magneton, I think, is pretty decent, right? Pretty good special attack. Fungus puts things to sleep and is the ultimate anti-trick room. But yeah, I'm super hyped about these first 4. I'm really excited to see what Jordan does with those.
I think
Jordan,
this.
what were the 2 mons you had before you picked up Fletchender and Fungus?
I dropped the Star Raptor because I already had offense and I already had Intimidate, and so what I wanted is the best Tailwind when I need it. So I got Fletchender.
Fair enough.
And Fungus, right? Fungus,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't need to bring it much for it to be a problem when it shows up.
Yeah, I think this main 4 is really missing a certain level of support on this team. Like, I feel like this team is missing like a stronger screen setter or maybe like a stronger redirector to really
Why
allow
don't
these
you
mons.
not snipe my clef key, and then we can talk about having a stronger screen.
Hey, you could have taken the Morgrim earlier if you wanted.
I
it.
got sniped 2 picks before my pick for
Oh,
the Morgrim.
all right.
So yeah, the team was not what it was supposed to be.
Fair
It was
enough.
supposed to be a bulky offense team behind screens, but instead it's become several other things.
Well, hey, I mean, Impidimp can set a screen before it
yes,
dies.
yes, it can.
So that's something. I mean, I think you definitely found value with these cheap support, which I know you were gassing up earlier when we were talking about the other teams. Is like if you're able to pick strong mons, like these first 4, and then pair it up later with really cheap mons
First
that
5,
click a
hold
move.
on. Fergaraf is literally the second best mon on my team.
Fair enough. Maybe
I
don't. To be honest, I don't know much about it.
Literally, I'm fine. Underrated. It's
No,
fantastic.
I just don't know much about it personally. I definitely recognize these first 4 as potent offensive threats, so that's why I just said it. But yeah. I mean, listen. I mean, Impidimp could set a screen before it dies, maybe 2 if you put a sash on it, which is fine. It's definitely value for the amount of points it costs. It's going to definitely do its job. I think if you were able to get a stronger support in this range of the draft, your team would be that much better. But listen, this is a solid team. I think your free agent moves definitely helped your team out a little bit because now you have that redirection threat. You have the threat of a Spore, which is, like you said, just having Fungus on the team builder when people are prepping is doing a lot for its value as where you picked it, right? So, like, the fact that people have to plan for the Rage Powder Spore when they're planning, even if you don't bring it.
maybe they're bringing a Terra Grass they otherwise wouldn't have
or
wanted
safety
to bring,
goggles,
or
it's
safety goggles when they really want to be running a life orb or an assault vest, just something else, right? So I watched this video about priority recently, and I'm not going to point out what you think I'm going to point out, because that video points out that. I'm going to point out the, is it Armor Tail or Kudchu? Which one is the...
Armor Tail.
Armor Tail is the shut down enemy priority one, right? Yep. So basically what you've done is said, I think priority's great, so no one else gets to have it. Which I think is a very smart way to, like, here's the things I care about. I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is on it, right? I think you've been talking about, Annihilate is great, priority is great, and you've got your priority on Fletchinder, you've got Azumarill and Arcanine, you've got it's only happening on your side of the field. It's basically Psychic Surge, but better. And then Fairgraph gets to be doing important things as well, right? Like it is also a Pokemon with like real stats and stuff too. 120 HP, 110 attack, special attack. Like it's doing stuff, right? So
the versatility of the first two is super nice too. Mm-hmm. Just the fact that Annihilate has every move in the game, and Arcanine can run support sets, or it can be offensive, physically or specially, I think is really nice. I think those two are going to be super strong this season across both conferences.
I am a little disappointed that you dropped the starts with A theme draft, because I really think there might have been something there, but.
Not only was he doing the A draft, he was doing the descending tier draft. The 5-pointer should have been next tier.
There were no A-Mons in 5 tier, so I had to break it. But I'm glad that nobody knows what Arboliva does, because Arboliva is a really excellent mod too.
I know what it does, because I was going to draft it. but I won't say what it does.
No, honestly,
Offense,
I love the
grassy terrain, all 3 at the same time usually.
I love the pick for you, because it helps you complete a really solid type core as well. Fire, water, grass, 3 in a row right here. So that's always a solid foundation to build the team upon. Gives you that Trick Room threat. 125 special attack means you can't ignore it on the field. It's got Harvest and Seed Sour, which are both decent abilities that could see merit in certain matchups. Decently bulky as well with 90, 109, and 78. That's got to be in the upper tier of defenses for sure.
Oh, Arboliva gets Terrain Pulse too. Nice.
Yeah, it gets some juicy stuff.
I love Arboliva. You did a good pick with that one.
So far.
I like it.
Tier.
I have this top.
I think it's pretty good. Like, I don't want to go crazy, but I think it's pretty good. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's up there with the Tays and the Soras.
I do too. I think it's better than both of them.
Really?
And I usually put Jordan in like C tier, so
I'm gonna put it in between
I'm not
Goose and
underestimating you, Jordan.
Sora. I
need
think.
to go look at Sora's team again real quickly, because I really liked it, and
We could look at Sora's team real quick. Let me see.
yeah, I feel like this Jordan team is a little top heavy, but I like the top.
Yeah, I'm struggling to decide if Sora's team is better than this one or not. This was Sora's team.
I put Sora over me, but
I did really like Sora's team a lot.
I'm gonna put it in A in between Goose and Sora personally.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it at the top of A, with Sora as the S tier team.
That's fair enough.
Onwards, we have an S tier team to talk about. Is it Tsukaba?
Yeah. Who's next here? We've got Braff's team next.
Funky team.
Poor guy. I sniped him turn before 3 times.
Good. He deserves it.
This was the improv team of the draft.
I do feel bad.
This is his 30th draft. He can deal with being sniped.
That's fair.
It's
enough.
a Titan Funky Jams team.
Satitan with
It's weird,
Grimmsnarl
but it's good.
is cool.
That's all I have to say.
Imagine, how do you kill Satitan under screens? That's my question. Especially when it...
Water types of Titan especially.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Burn
Terra?
it and pray.
Burn it and pray, honestly.
I don't know.
What's your
Grimmsnarl
solution?
has Pranksty Mystery Terrain. You've activated my trap card.
Okay, well, there goes that idea.
I was gonna say Tauros's very good screen breaking move, but there's the Tauros right there.
He has it.
Yeah. Granted, there are 2 others. But
Not to mention, he went really... I think he went hard into the the bulky play set as well. He's got Moraine with an EV-Light, could be bulky. Greedent can be bulky. Corviknight, he's got Titan, obviously. This is going to be a tough team to break through that wall unless you have a solid answer to the screens. If you have a Brick Break Mon or something like that, it's going to be really hard to prevent him from stalling you out with his bulkiness. But at the same time,
Frostlass is nice here too because it pairs with the Tauros for that anger point and also Toxtricity for Boom Burst.
Yeah.
Does anyone know how strong Toxtricity is with all of the boosts? Because I don't, but I'm concerned.
Probably very strong, right?
Punkrock Terra Normal Boom Burst is probably...
That's probably insane.
A lot of damage.
No ground type, but just Terra something into ground, and then... What's the electric Toxtricity move called? That is a spread move?
Overdrive?
Overdrive.
It's only both opponents. Very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Toxtricity's he found a good pick with that. I think it fits with the rest of his squad pretty well.
Several defensive switch-ins to ground types to really allow Toxtricity to be able to do some good stuff, right? We got Corviknight and Rotom Wash, which both just laugh at him. Haha. You throw an Earthquake or a Stomping Tantrum because nobody gets high horsepower anymore. And Rotom Wash comes in, doesn't care, and then kills you with a Hydro Pump. Or, more likely, a water Terra Blast, right? Because you just don't want to deal with that chance to miss. And the Terra boost making up for the slightly lower base power, something like that. Or
Lycanroc also first round pick for Dan, and he got it really late here, so that's a good pick too.
Imagine two of Grimmsnarl, Titan, and Rotom Wash hit the field. You don't know. All three of them can hit you pretty hard turn one. All three of them can set up. All three of them can do damage reduction stuff. Even if this team didn't have a central identity, and I'd say it's like a more defensively oriented setup team, but like this team has a fair amount of power for a team as versatile and defensive as it is.
You can't even sleep on Greedent. Like, Greedent could threaten to set up on you and just dominate. Especially with Terra, like, you get rid of that normal typing.
Well, Grumpig.
The only thing setting Trick Room is Grumpig, and
but,
Grumpig
it's got own tempo.
Grumpig is borderline useless.
I know Braf mentioned in the Discord that Greedent was like a Trick Room answer more so than like a mode that he was looking to run. So I can see him bringing it as like an anti-Trick Room mod.
Yeah, makes sense.
Like, the team's not it's not that scary team turn one. Like, I guess it's just like the Toxtricity, and the other mons require some setup. But like that's I'd say is the main weakness is like you want to like fire off your Life Orb Choice Bands and just try to break through. If you have Brick Break to try to break through the screens, then you can probably break through this team sometimes. But like a lot of the time, Braf's gonna get one turn of setup, nasty plot, and just go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does he have a way to set Slush Rush for Titan? Does Frostlass get Slush Rush?
It's not great, but it's an option.
It's an option. I mean, I kind of wish he had a better way to set the Hail to have that as a threatening mode. Either if he got the Slow King, as illustrated in the other conference, or the Abomasnow, which I think is the only...
I sniped him turn before for Slow King.
Right, okay. So
that's my bad.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, I think he did a pretty good job given the fact that I think he got sniped like 10 times. I mean, I think Corviknight fits really well with the rest of his team, and it's going to be pulling a lot of weight as that bulky mon that you have to find a way to break through. Can set Tailwind for the rest of the team to enable it to, outspeed and do a lot of damage. I like it. I think it's pretty good.
The
overall.
Weaknesses on this team do hurt a little bit. Rock and electric weaknesses that are kind of hard for him to deal with are a little bit of a problem, I think.
Yeah.
Tier it.
Yeah, let's put it on the list. Braf's team, I like.
Top of B tier.
I have it top of B as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same here. Above the Gigaliths, but not quite as good as Goose's team. I have it top of B, personally.
I have it just above Goose, but mine looks a lot different than yours.
That's fair enough. Alright, what do we got next? The Naranha division.
The next one up here. Oh! It's Sukaba's team.
Is you.
It's me.
Goddamn. Everybody go watch Sukaba's video. It's got high production quality, and it explains why this is a magnificent team.
And it came
So
out
much
like
value,
4
so much
seconds after the draft was done.
Yeah.
I had that ready to go. I was priming it up. Every pick, I was updating the slides, so I knew I would be good.
Oh, champion. So much power, so much options, so much defense. Sure. Like, it's got all the numbers and all the versatility. So what else are you going to ask for? I guess you could ask for, like, circuitry, but circuitry's not in the format. So you're going to have to deal with your E-Speed Dragonite.
I was going to say you could ask for fewer 4 times weaknesses, but like that's
They're
not
covered.
actually that big of a deal.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
Terra, and they're also covered for. Right?
Yeah,
Which is
Terra and they're pretty decently covered. Yeah, I like this team. I agree that Scyther's never looked better. I mean, I drafted Persian. I think Persian is worth every bit of 3 points and worth the spot on a team a lot of the time. I think Rotom, the lower Rotom forms also gain a lot from a Terra world, right? Because you can like fix those bad moves with Terra Blast if you need to. Your bad typing moves. Granted, the grass one is actually like not bad, right? It's the same as Overheat except worse typing. I think there's good stuff that is like definitely worth it on this team. I looked at Glamora a little bit in the draft, but don't remember what it's actually doing. It's just remind me. It's
very strong.
Very high special attack.
Decent
That's-
defenses.
Pretty
Talk
decent
spikes
defenses.
if you smack it.
It's,
Which can make the difference
Neolago,
between
except I
Bastion
can
and
like kind of actually understand it.
And
Yeah,
it doesn't
and-
have
and-
Trick Room.
It's Nihilego, but like with the option to terrestrialize to not become 4x weeks to ground.
Yeah, and it actually has better coverage than Nihilego. Nihilego kind of limited. The Glamora actually has pretty sick coverage options.
Earth, one of the best Earth powers in the whole game. Incredible pick for round 9. Holy.
Yeah, and then a lot of good mons we've talked about previously, right? Dragonite, Klefki. We actually haven't talked about Toadstool a ton. Like we talked about Toadstool
So good. Yeah.
as a cheap support mon, but
On a team
that's
as good as
cool.
this, it's really good because you got to respect the turn 1 Dragonite E-Speed. As soon as Trick Room's up, you got to respect Copperage to turn 1. And then we have the turn 2, turn 3 threats. Like Skeledirge is scaling on you, Quaquaval is scaling on you, and then Toadsquirrel, like, you want to like be like, oh yeah, I've got to worry about the offensive threats, but like it's putting you to sleep. It's redirecting. Like, and it's if it terrestrializes on you, then it's living lots of hits. This is a magnificent team. I don't know what else to say.
I think this team's really good too, but I do think there's a little bit of a Trick Room weakness. You have Copperajah here, which is super strong in Trick Room. But other than that, not a whole lot of slow threats. Skeledirge, pretty slow. Not the slowest. So if somebody really tries to outslow this team, then there might be a little bit of a struggle there. The type coverage is really good. Really nice mix of physical and special attackers, and some really strong supports with Klefki and Toadsquirrel. So I agree. This is one of my favorite teams in this conference.
To point out one of my own weaknesses, I think I would feel a little more comfortable if I had a faster attacker. Like a lot of my mons that are at the top of my speed chart are not very potent offensive threats. I mean, Scyther could be, but like you said in the last conference video, like if Scyther's your fastest offensive threat, that's probably not a good thing. So I think I could have done better by getting a faster mon that can also accomplish something on the offensive end a little more. But, hopefully the screens and redirection I have is enough to overcome that.
Exactly. Yeah. Good guy points out his weaknesses, and also he can deal with them, so whatever.
Yeah.
S tier.
This is gonna be my first S tier.
I'll go with the consensus because I don't want to be biased here. So I don't know, whatever you guys think.
I'm putting you below Tay, but I'm putting you S tier. I actually don't know if when I look back at Tay whether this is above it, but this is an S tier team for me.
That's the problem with your team going first is we don't look back at it, so we
Yeah.
don't switch around enough.
yeah, I like it in S tier as well. I mean, I still am very high on Sora's team.
I
But-
guess if I'm comparing it to Jace's team, Jace kind of sets the S tier bar. I don't know. But I'm going to put it in S.
All right, I'll go with the consensus.
Last two.
All right,
Last two.
two more.
Let's do what your boy and the Bear Ticks.
Poppin, and then and then your boy. The other Golden Go team.
Flamigo. Round 2. Wow.
Poppin was very high on Flamigo, and proved it by taking it round 2, right?
I'm kind of with him. I think Flamigo's pretty good. I don't know about 3-pointer round 2 Flamigo, but I think it's definitely worth a pickup and in the first half of a draft for sure.
It shouldn't have been 3 points. Sorry about that. Like, obviously, the upside is so good if you can really copy boosts. But, like, no, it's not really leading the team. I think most of the time you're bringing the Golden Go Talonflame with Serena Haxorus support stuff. Like, Poppin's got a great bursty offensive mode, and that's the way he likes to play. So he'll be good. And then the Trick Room mode's really good. Grabominable, he's already used successfully in Slowbro and Garganical. Garganical is a massive problem, regardless of whether it's going first or not. So yeah, this team has the ultra defense and the ultra offense that propelled Poppin to his championship last season.
Yeah, definitely the threat of Tailwind, obviously priority Tailwind, and Trick Room on this team. He can go really fast, he can go really slow. I feel like Flamigo, what kind of makes it so strong is that it can get that co-star boost with Dunbozo, but what boost is it copying here? Garganical?
It can copy like +4 defense.
Maybe Haxorus' Dragon Dancing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
It's not even bad
find him.
without.
But also,
copying
maybe it
moves.
just runs scrappy close combats.
That's what I'm saying. I think Scrappy's fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's 500 base stat, 90 speed tier, 115 attack. Like, it's honestly not even a bad mon, even if you're not using the ability to copy the boosts.
Yeah, the Mon is literally fine with just dual close combat, Brave Bird, Tailwind, Sash even. Who cares? You know, it's a fine Mon.
And you
I
have
think
to,
the focus is going to be on these.
I'm also
offensive
thinking, like, Terra Ghost is going to be popular to counter Fake Out. Like, having Scrappy might even get a boost in this gen just because of that in Draft League.
threats. Ooh, sure.
Yeah, there is very little Scrappy on the board as well. This is with the exception of Goldango, and to a very, very lesser extent Slowbro, this is a very physically offensive team. With no real ways to punish Intimidate or deal with it other than Mon is going to have Clear Amulet every week. Like, something runs Clear Amulet, and then Intimidate gets the other 3 physical attackers that week.
Play
You know
a
what I
Scrappy
mean?
and Hyper Cutter.
Oh, I guess there is Hyper Cutter.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is why we call him the Doctor. Yeah, I would definitely bring Reflect, Intimidate against this team, and then try to find a way to neutralize the Golden Ghost some other way. Yeah, but he does have good protection against burns, right? Garganical can't be burned because of its ability. Talonflame can't be burned. We'll see.
I think it's a very wide team. He did a pretty good job, like, spreading out his assets here, where you don't really know what 6 mons are coming. I'm not really too high on the Spide Hops personally, but otherwise, you know, you could expect to see a lot of these mons in any given week, which makes planning a bit of a pain.
Igor Toth, not exactly the greatest in the
Igor
world, but
Toth.
generally. and Dun Sparse.
Dun.
Yeah, you know,
Dunsparce, I believe in.
I actually believe a little bit in Dun Sparse.
Yeah, no, Dun Sparse, I actually do think is decent, right?
It's not even bad.
It is good, honestly.
It's
Spinning
good.
Grace.
It's pretty bulky.
Headbutts.
And with
Rock
Terra,
slide.
you never know what
Rock
type it's going
slides,
to
yeah.
become. So it has merit for sure.
Hyper Drill, it's just Urshifu Jr. Are you kidding me? What the heck? How am I supposed to stop that thing? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. You definitely don't want to set Trick Room against this team either. Look at all the options he has to counter it right here. He's got the Crabominable and Garganacle, which are going to thrive under that mode. Dun Sparse can do some work. So,
Look at all those wide guards. He's got 3 wide guard users.
I know. Ironically, he was probably hogging them so everyone wouldn't draft it against Golden Go here.
Yeah, exactly.
I was looking to grab one when I saw he grabbed Golden Girl. I was like, damn, I'm playing in week 1. I gotta grab Wide Guard. I didn't get one. He stole them all.
Very good team. I think there are some ways to beat this team. Like, it does have some like shared weaknesses. It does have a little bit of reliance on physical attackers. You don't really beat this team on speed, right? It's got the big diversity of speed threats, but you try to beat it with tricks. You try to beat it with overpowering it a little bit, maybe setting up on it. Actually, you know what? Nothing seems that reliable against this team. It's pretty interesting team. So I'm gonna say it's A tier somewhere.
I think it's
Yeah.
an A too.
It's an A tier for me.
I think it's a low A tier, though, for me personally. I think I like Goose's team a little better if we look back. But that's a matter of opinion.
All right, let's throw it on there. Get to the last one.
Yeah, I'm going to put it low A for now. All
What
right.
up? It's your boy.
Garchomp and friends.
All right.
Yeah, the Garchomp team.
I have some stuff to say about this team.
Garchomp and the Chompettes.
Yeah, alright, so you have Garchomp, who's like, alright, really solid offensive mon. It's got, the Terra Ground option to just annihilate everything with Earthquake. He's got really good support for the Garchomp. He's got Sableye, Rabska, Jump Bluff. Almost too much support, if you ask me.
Everything's for the Garchomp.
Like, where is this team doing damage outside of Garchomp? It's like, the whole plan seems to be...
Palmot and Flareon, but that's not really the best answer.
Is Flareon really reliable, though? I get Palmot, that is merit. I don't think Flareon is very threatening offensively. Maybe with Terra I'll be proved wrong, but I don't know. I just feel like it's way too much support around like the Protect the King strategy with Garchomp to where he needs another offensive threat in here to really balance it out for me. I don't see this as a viable strategy.
So here's the counterweight.
Yeah,
While agreeing with you that the team has too many supports, if you can guarantee the Flareon goes first because you've either got Sableye, Prankster, Quash, or Jumpluff, Tailwind, then like Flareon with the Guts boost is like incredibly strong. So like maybe like Flareon will win some weeks, but I do think the answer is the same: Flareon and Garchomp and Palmot, to be honest, which is to try to like redirect Iron Defense, burn. Well, I guess you can't burn Flareon, but you get the idea.
Well, you can Terra Flareon to another type turn 1, and then your Flame Orb will trigger.
I just
yeah, you can
then
Toxic Orb, but yes, that's
Well, yeah,
fair.
I mean, you can Toxic Orb, but like obviously, if you can, you would prefer to be burned as a Guts user than Toxic.
Right.
But yeah.
I mean, he's got 2 Revival Blessings here. I just love to see maybe the Palmot 7 points used towards another offensive threat where he's already got the option to support the Garchomp with Sableye, but also to revive it with Rabska and support it with Jumpluff. I just think the Palmot's a little overkill in that regard. And maybe he ends up using Palmot more as an offensive threat, which has a lot of merit for sure. But I just love to see something a little more potent on the offensive end, personally, for me.
Yeah. Palmot like to be reviving more mons than Garchomp every time.
The only thing I really wanted from this, he sniped Flareon and Dashbun because I kind of wanted him to do the little lava plume, woe-baked body, and do some body presses, but just probably pull it 1 week and see if it worked. But I mean, again, Garchomp's the only thing that looks very threatening.
Doxmon's actually cool here. Like I gotta respect like the protection from burns that Doxmon provides. On this team in particular, I dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely does work. I think the Flareon Dashbun combo works a little better on this team than it does on the team that it's on the other conference. Because it does, like you said, support that Garchomp a little more, protecting it against burn. Yeah, I don't know. I just need to see a little more offense here for me to rank this higher personally. I don't know about the rest of you.
Right.
Yeah, I don't really like the Revival Blessing strategy. I don't think it's going to work out the way a lot of people think it is.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
see that
crazy
getting
about it
blown up.
either, right? Like, are we? I mean, either we're right or everyone else is right. I mean, not necessarily everyone in this discussion, but like the wider Pokemon world is very high on Revival Blessings, and I just don't really think like yes, it's broken in singles, of course, but that's a whole like irrelevant world to us. I mean, not literally, like in draft, maybe you get some interesting ideas from single sets and stuff like that. But like overall, like I just don't think it's good.
Well, think about what you have to commit to get it off. It's like, first of all, the mon has to be dead that you want to revive for it to work, which could be hard to position.
Because there's only one mon you care about on the team.
Right.
Your opponent knows that that's the only mon you
fair
care
enough.
about,
So
they
then,
can target it.
to commit to reviving it, you have to not only invest a move, which can be very vital in VGC. You know, these games only last, 6 or 7 turns a lot of the time. So to invest a move slot, like a move turn, into reviving a Pokemon. But it's only coming back at half health as well. So it's like, I feel like the investment in that is a little too hardcore on this team. Like, I would have liked it a lot better if he left it at one of those, and then, like I said, got another mon that he could threaten to revive to maybe make it have a little more merit. But both of these together just seems like way too overkill.
Yeah, I want the Revival Blessing on a team with offensive overload, where you can bring back any offensive mon that's like, that hammers their team's weakness. Like, you've dealt with their one water mon, and then you bring back your Arcanine or whatever.
Or just whichever the first Pokemon they happen to kill is, you bring your Rabska in, revive it, and then they just have to deal with it a second time, right?
Not to mention, you bring Will-O-Wisp against this team. It's like, look at it. He's all physical, right? He's got the Flareon. I mean, I guess you can't burn Flareon unless it Terras, but like, it's all physical damage that you're really worried about. It's like, you bring a Reflect and Iron Defense and a Will-O-Wisp. It's like, how is this team winning, even if it revives Garchomp? You know what I mean? Like, it just feels very one-dimensional in that aspect, where it's like, all of the investment in this team is on the Garchomp being the sole offensive threat, and I'm just not seeing that as a viable strategy, personally.
Yeah, I just wish we had more offense. I will put respect on Flareon's name. I'll put lots of respect on Jumpluff as a supporter. The Mabostiff can do some damage, but like, I just wish they were a little bit better on the offense. We drop one of these supports. In fact, trade one to me if you want. But then then get another offensive pick, and this guy will be higher on the tier list.
Yeah, maybe we're undervaluing Rotom Frost a little bit, right? Just because like Terra makes all the crappy Rotoms better. And,
it's
and,
decent.
Like, it gets Nasty Plot too, and like, if the whole world is focused on Garchomp, they're much more likely to find an opportunity to boost up the Rotom, and then you Terra it to Electric, and you just throw out big Thunderbolts or whatever. Or, you know, maybe your Garchomp is still alive, unlikely, and you're gonna discharge next to it, or, you know, whatever. Maybe we're undervaluing the Rotom Frost a little bit. But,
good point. So this is like the team where I've seen too much sauce, not enough meat, and I would say like it's fine. Like, I think it's like an average team, but in this league, that puts it in 12th out of 12 for me. Like, I don't see another team that I can put this in front of. So this is a decent team that I'm putting at the bottom.
Well, maybe, listen, I mean, to play devil's advocate here, I mean, maybe we're looking too far into the Revival Blessing aspect. Like, these mons, Palmot and Rabska, have other things going for them, to the point where he doesn't have to bring that as an option, but it just feels like with the offense that he's bringing, it almost feels like that's like kind of the strategy that you're thinking of planning for. Otherwise, you're not really worried about it, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe we're just undervaluing how good these mons are without the threat of Revival Blessing.
There's a ton of
Revival Blessing the Palmot back.
True. Yeah, that's like
chain, baby, the chain.
Yeah.
Infinite value.
I mean, there's a lot of good mons on this team for sure. So we'll see how it performs.
Here. So
putting it last doesn't mean it's a bad team. It just means it's not as good as the other team.
It's totally playable, and in fact, one transaction I think makes it a lot better. One more attacker,
and preferably a special attacker.
Yeah, definitely. So where are we putting it? I'm leaning towards a low C, high D.
Yeah, I think it's the bottom tier, the bottom team for me as well.
Yeah, I have it in D.
And it's not even like that bad of a team. It just feels one-dimensional in that way. You know, like, listen, all the teams that we've ranked today are good teams. Like, all the coaches did a pretty good job with the draft. So it's all these rankings are pretty relative, and also they don't mean anything because we could be dead wrong. This team could be top of the conference with Garchomp just stomping everything with Terra Ground. So who knows, you know? But I'm going to put it at the top of D.
Yeah. We ended up with a little bit of a downer, but like this conference overall, I've got 3 teams in my S tier, and like I'm just saying, NU conference supremacy.
No, false.
Yeah.
False claim.
And I got 3 teams in my S tier, and they aren't even me. So,
Yep, I've got 2, but I am shifted higher overall than I was for SV conference. So, yeah, there's some sweet teams in this draft.
well done, drafters.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is gonna really, this is the defining season for Gen 9. You know, we're gonna see how people use Terra. We're gonna see how people decide to spread out their assets and make some heat sets. I'm really excited to get started with some matches so we can see how wrong we were with our analysis today.
Yeah.
Let's be wrong.
But yeah, I think we provided some valuable insight at least into what we expect all these teams to do. And you know, any coach is capable of taking any one of these teams to the top. So it's just a matter of ranking the composition itself rather than, you know, saying one team is bad. No team we rank today is bad, if we're being honest.
Agreed. Yeah. Good luck, NU conference.
Yeah. So I guess we'll finish off this video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you got something out of it. Maybe some VGC analysis if your league hasn't drafted yet, or if you're in this league, maybe you got some notes about a team you're facing and you could apply it to your prep. Whatever the case may be, hope you enjoyed our analysis. We'll see you guys for some matches this year. We're definitely looking forward to the VBL-S taking care of some business this year, right? So thanks everybody for joining us for this Olds review. We gotta go to sleep now because, you know, we're all old, so it's past our bedtime right over here. So I think it's about time that we finish this off.
My knee does hurt, man.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.
Peace.
Peace.